Meditation and Spiritual Life, Swami Yatiswarananda. Duty of householders. In all higher spiritual paths, great stress is laid on the practice of continence. In the Hindu religious system, the student is asked to observe strict continence and never to depart from it consciously. When he enters the householder's life, he does not throw all self control to the winds. He holds the ideal of a remarkably controlled life before him. Sri Krishna, in his last message in the Bhagavatam, says, the practice of continence, except for the purpose of procreation, the performance of the regular obligations of life with purity and contentment and kindness to animals are among the duties of a householder. Brahmacharyam, tapashaucham, santosho, bhuta sauhridam, grihasthasya gantuhu sarvesham mad upasanam. The ideal householder is a great hero, as he has to live the spiritual ideal in a world full of temptations. When an exception is made in the case of those who live a family life, raising children and serving the society thereby, all other spiritual seekers should strive to transmute the energy that expresses itself as sex energy and sexual thought into spiritual power. And this greatly helps in the awakening of the latent spiritual consciousness and its flow to the higher centers of consciousness and brings new light and blessedness to the aspirant. An exception is made in the case of householders, for it is not practical to live a life of perfect continence in married life. At the same time, the householder is enjoined to learn complete self-control gradually. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that after the birth of one or two children, husband and wife should live like brother and sister. But in order to attain this kind of self-control, both husband and wife should struggle for it right from the beginning. Immorality means not only impurity acquired by extramarital relations, one can be as immoral with one's wife as with any outsider. If one leads a sexually immoderate life with one's own wife, wherefrom is he to get the energy and intensity so absolutely necessary for all real spiritual striving? We should clearly and dispassionately recognize this fact. We need tremendous energy for leading the higher life, and this energy of ours, which is really one, cannot be wasted through sexual channels if we want to progress and really attain perfection. Spiritual life is something more than mere social ethics and what people call normal good life. It requires great self-control and purity. Whoever desires to lead the higher life must pay the price fully. So, there can be no bargaining in this. Married people should also exercise great self-control if they are serious about spiritual life. In the New Testament, Jesus Christ makes a significant statement about the soul's life after death. In the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. We seldom think about our life after death. Do people marry and beget children in the afterlife? What happens to the soul after death? The future is as real as the present, but few people bother about it. Enchanted by the attractions of our present life, we seldom think about our future life. Another duty of householders is to encourage and help those youngsters, men and women, who sincerely want to lead a celibate life, the life of a monk or a nun. The Holy Mother used to say that an unmarried man is half free. Very often, parents are over anxious to drag all their children into married life, even against the latter's wish. You know what happened to Swami Yogananda, one of the illustrious disciples of Sri Ramakrishna? As a young man, he did not like to get married at all, but unable to withstand the importunities and tears of his mother, he finally got married. However, even after marriage, he continued to lead a chaste life, devoting all his time to spiritual practice. Seeing that, his mother asked him, "If you don't want to live like a householder, why did you marry?" The innocent young man replied that it was for her sake that he had done it. His mother then told him, "My son, does anybody marry because somebody else tells him to do so? Everybody marries because of his own wish." Yogananda was shocked to hear this. That is what happens in many homes. Parents drag their children, innocent children, into marriage even against their wish and then leave them to their own fate. Very often, parents continue to interfere in their children's lives even after the marriage, and that leads to domestic quarrels. It is, of course, true that not all young men and women wish to remain unmarried. It is also true that many of them talk about celibacy and monasticism without knowing anything about their own mind. But there is always a small section of sincere young men and women who are pure hearted and sincerely wish to dedicate their heart and soul to the Lord alone. Why not allow some of them to pursue a life of perfect chastity in a monastery or a similar place? Why not allow some of them to enjoy the fragrance of holiness and purity? Hear what the Holy Mother once told her niece is worth citing. One day, a young man named Manush came to the Holy Mother with a desire to receive initiation and a robe from her. The Holy Mother gladly granted his request. That made him very happy. In the evening, he was seated in the house of Uncle Kali, singing songs in glorification of the Divine Mother. The Holy Mother liked those songs very much. Her nieces Radhu, Maku, and Nalini, one or two of her sisters-in-law, and some other devotees were with her. One of her sisters-in-law said, "She has made this young man a sadhu." Maku then commented, "That's true. See what her aunt has done. She makes these good young men embrace monastic life. Their parents have brought them up with great suffering to themselves. All these expectations are centered in their children. What hopes they would have entertained about them, all these are now shattered. And what will this young man do now? Either he'll go to Rishikesh or beg for his food, or he'll clean the dirt and filth of the sick in the hospital. Why? To marry and settle down in life is also a form of religion. Well, aunt, if you thus make these young men sadhus, Mahamaya will be angry with you. If they want to be sadhus, let them be so of their own accord. Why should you be instrumental in their embracing monastic life?" The Holy Mother said to her in reply, "Look here, Maku, these are all divine children. They will live in the world, immaculate like unsmelt flowers. What can be nicer than that? You have seen for yourself what kind of happiness worldly life can give. What have you learned from me all these days? Why so much attraction for worldly life? Why so much animal propensity? What sort of happiness do you derive from it? Can you not conceive even in dream the ideal of a pure life? And you live with your husband even now as brother and sister. Why is this desire to lead a piggish life? The misery of the world has been gnawing into my bones. People who are fully able to control the sex impulse for many years and are able to observe strict continence in thought, word, and deed gain incredible creative strength on a higher plane. They alone really enjoy life, even physically, because they alone are the masters of their body and mind and can direct them as they like. A good horseman has great pleasure in riding his horse and in making it follow his directions. Worldly people do not know the amount of joy a perfectly chaste person gets even out of his body, not to speak of his mind.